Okay, so it is July. It's summer. The sun is shining. It's hot as heck. Sun is merciless. It's the perfect time to stay in and have yourself a little sleepaway camp marathon, which is what I did. In this video, I wanted to talk about the movies. Not gonna do like a super fancy, video clips, pictures, whatever, narration, whatever. Not gonna do that. Nothing too elaborate. Just talking about it. Talking about the movies. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. First and foremost, one thing we have to appreciate is this amazing box art. Really, really cool. It comes out. It's the survival kit. Cool stuff. So good job, Anchor Bay. Did a really, really cool job making this set. So yeah, I'll just pretty much talk movie per movie and give my thoughts on them. First movie is Sleepaway Camp, and before I start, just gotta give you a warning. Totally spoilers all over the place. I can't talk about the movie without giving away the ending, especially the next two movies. But anyway, Sleepaway Camp. It's a classic. Gotta love this movie. Totally 80s. It's fucking 80s as fuck. You got like short shorts, tank tops, muscle shirts. The entire male cast is now infertile because the shorts were so tight. Just, kids out in the summer at camp, trying to have fun, trying to get laid, and having their lives ended through grisly murders. So lots of fun to be had there. Basically, main plot, Angela and her cousin, Ricky, they go to this sleepaway camp, and, Angela, she's shy, and she's had a traumatic experience that you see at the beginning of the movie that kind of sets the scales for it. And people kind of think she's a freak, but, Ricky's supportive, trying to keep her in line, try to keep her a little bit social, encouraging, things like that, but also doing his own thing, because, he wants to, mingle with the girls, hang out with his friends, stuff like that. He can't be with her every second, and he doesn't want to coddle her, but people pretty much think she's a freak, so she's relentlessly tortured by some of the meaner kids, so that's not too great, but then all of a sudden, all these, mysterious murders start happening, and you don't know who's doing it, and there's good murders and stuff. It's not quite as elaborate as something you'd see in a Friday the 13th movie, nothing like that, because it is a lower budget kind of movie, but there's good stuff like that creepy pedophile cook. He gets the boiling hot. Is it just water, or is it soup, or something? He gets boiling hot pot spilled all over him. You see, like, the calluses on the face, and he's like, ah, and it's really fun. But I don't think he dies. But the one other cook, the one who's James Earl Jones's father, he just kind of stands there and watches him scream like an asshole. But anyway, maybe he doesn't die, maybe he does, whatever. And there's other cool stuff, like that one kid, he gets drowned and his decaying corpse washes up, which decays a lot more than it would in just 24 hours, but let's suspend our disbelief. There's the curling iron, that one girl, you only see like the shadow of it, like, of, no, but let your imagination do kind of the work, which is nice, we don't always need a overly elaborate special effect to see that. And there's, some stabbings, beheadings, arrow in the throat, cool stuff. But anyway, the one thing that this movie is most known for is its twist ending. And that twist is that Angela is not a girl, but she's a boy. After her traumatic experience, her father died, she was raised by her crazy aunt to be a boy, because she's crazy, and she already had a boy, and yeah, I'm not too clear on the details, but something wasn't right in that family. So that's the big secret. So she's like, it's a really cheesy effect at the end, but everyone looks and sees her naked, and you see the penis, and they're all like, "Oh my God, it's a guy!" So that's the twist ending. A lot of people, like, if you watch other reviews or go on like a message board, whatever, a lot of people will claim that ending really shocked them, and that they were traumatized by it because it was just so surprising and terrifying. I wouldn't go that far, and I think when I first saw the movie, I first saw it only like maybe 5 years ago or so. I think I knew the ending already. I think someone spoiled it for me, but it didn't really shock me that much. And it's, with the effect, it's kind of cheesy, but it was, cool. It was something a little bit unique that you'd see in the movie. Like, I can't think of any other movies that have quite a twist such as that. But I guess the main part of the twist was that it was, this supposedly innocent little girl all along who was doing the killings. But, she was traumatized. She had issues. So, yeah, there's that. So some people say it's terrifying. Some people say it's cheesy. I mean, there's definitely the group of people who will say, it's offensive, or that it's, demonizes transgender people, and I don't really, I can see where they would come from with that. I really, really do, but I sincerely don't believe that that was necessarily the intention. In fact, I think it's just sounding really weird, but it does kind of empower them in kind of a way. Like, when you have a horror movie like this, and Angela is the main character, if it's through the point of view of the main character, even if the main character is the killer, then in the twisted kind of way, that character is the good guy of the movie. And if you look at it through Angela's point of view, especially when you get to the other two movies, I mean, it's her serving justice. I mean, she just, wanted to, enjoy camp, but people were assholes. So that's justice, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. Like for example, like Hannibal or something. He would only eat rude people or bad people. So, or even like Jason. It's like everybody, you've seen Scream. You know the primal sins of a horror movie. Don't drink. Don't do drugs. Don't have sex. You're gonna die, or else the killer will bring the twisted justice to you. But anyway, that's basically the movie. It's it's a classic in its own sense. I mean, it's definitely not the best movie ever made. It is incredibly cheesy, but it's so fun. Really, really a good horror movie, and a good kind of summer camp movie too, in a weird kind of way. Except for all the murders. I mean, there's like a 10-minute scene with a baseball game where they're just having fun. There's no murders, so if you just watch that one scene, you'd probably think it was like, Bad News Bears or something. Anyway, that brings us to the second movie, which is Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. I gotta say, I love the first Sleepaway Camp movie, and like I said, it's a classic, but I do kind of like Sleepaway Camp 2 better, because it does kind of get a little cheesier, and again, it makes Angela more of the hero of the movie. That's not Angela, it's some model that they got to, I don't know. But anyway, Angela, she's played by Pamela Springsteen, Bruce Springsteen's sister, and she's great in this movie and the third movie. I think she brought that kind of uniqueness to the main killer character. Like, nothing against the actress. Like, oh my God, I can't remember her name. Who played Angela, the younger Angela in the first movie, but she brought personality to it. So it's important to have personality in a lot of these cases. Like, that's why a lot of the horror villains, that's why they stand out. Like Freddy Krueger, he totally had personality. Chucky definitely has personality, so that personality goes a long way. What can I say? And this one, like Pamela Springsteen, she's just great. You can tell she's having a lot of fun. You don't see much of her. I guess she gave up acting. I tried reading her bio, and there's not too many details in it. I don't know actually what she thinks of these movies, or if she's proud of them, but geez, I mean, that's gotta, imagine, like, mid-80s, the Springsteen family is sitting at the Christmas table or whatever, Pop's like, "Hey, Bruce, what'd you do this year?" And he's like, "Well, I'm the voice of a generation, real Americana kind of stuff. Records went gold, platinum, sold millions. I'm an icon. And Pamela's like, well, listen, I'm the star of a straight-to-video horror movie called Sleepaway Camp 2, where I play a hermaphrodite killer. I don't know, but yeah, it's a fun movie. Again, it kind of like any kind of horror movie, you kind of judge it by the kills and the creativity of the kills, and it's good. It has some good kills in it, so that's pretty much why you're watching. But again, they bring it to another level with like serving justice or whatever. So Angela in this movie, she's a camp counselor this time, which I liked her as a camp counselor because it's so funny. Like she's like, "Oh, I sent another kid home. Sorry. Oh yeah, that kid went home." By the end of the movie, it's like there's like 2 kids left, and they're like, "Where the fuck is everybody?" So she, credit where credit's due. I mean, she secretly killed people pretty well. I mean, gold medal. I mean, really, counselor of the week. But yeah, she's great in the role. Lots of fun to be had with the movie. And then the side characters are good too. Like, basically, the way I kind of look at it is that she's not unlike Michael Myers in a weird kind of way. Not like literally, but like in a certain sense that, okay, she's trying to recreate an event. So Michael Myers, what his whole drive is, he's trying to recreate that night on Halloween when he killed his sister. Or no. Well, yeah, that's it. He's trying to recreate that event, and he does it through the babysitters, so he tries to, whatever. That's the same thing with Angela, except she's trying to recreate her camp experience. So even in the third one, she says, I can't believe I thought this year would be different. So there's, the deep-seated psychological need or whatever to do that. I mean, not trying to read too much into it, but that's, basically it. And it's good. Lots of cheesy fun. Yeah. I mean, I can't really describe why I like this movie as much as I do, but it's just a lot of cool 80s. It's totally 80s. That's probably why I love it. And there's some fun references to other horror movies. She actually kills someone with a Freddy glove, and then actually kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street type music plays, and I like that. And she dresses up like Leatherface, and she chainsaws somebody. So it's lots of cool stuff, lots of fun, good references and stuff like that. And yeah, and she sees herself in another. In one of the camp attendees. So she kind of tries to be her guardian angel, sort of, even though she's the angel of death. So that was interesting, how she's trying to, mentor her. She knows that she's the good girl, she doesn't do drugs, she doesn't have sex, blah, 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 blah. So she sees herself in that girl, protects her sort of up to a point, but then as it ends, how it goes. So yeah, the ending, it does leave on a cliffhanger, and that leads to the third movie, which is Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland. Again, it's kind of the same kind of deal, except this time Angela's sort of on the lam. We don't know where she's been between the last movie and this one, but she shows up, I think it's in New York. She kills one of the campers who's about to head to this special camp, assumes her identity. So she's back in kind of her original element of being a camper instead of a counselor, which, again, kind of serves that need to replicate her camp experience. So, and it's interesting what they do with the campers in this one. Basically, it's like an experimental camp. So they're putting rich kids and poor kids together, and seeing how they can get along and camp and blah 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 blah. So they're really they're horrible stereotypes, and there's some really not so much appropriate racial undertones too, but it's a horror movie, so they drive the point home as far as they can, and there's some interesting aspects to it, and long and short of it is, whether you're rich, poor, black, or white, everybody has their, sins, and Angela does not discriminate, so she'll get you. So, I don't know, I don't quite like it. as much as the second one. The second one just had some kind of, je ne sais quoi about it. I can't really explain why, but it's the same kind of spirit. It's more in tune with the spirit of the second one than the first one, most definitely, because it's like a direct continuation, pretty much. I think it came out a year later, if that. So there's cool music, really 80s, same kind of stuff, the hot chicks and their boobs and all that great stuff. I mean, I'm not going to complain about that. Like, literally, if you time the movie, it's like boob shot 1 minute into the movie. So, what was it? She has a tattoo and it says milkshake. So, yeah, it's cheesy. It's stupid. But I love it. It's just so great. And Pamela Springsteen, again, she's kind of like in the second one, in Unhappy Camper, she seems a lot in control, like she has kind of a plan, but here it seems like she's just kind of running on fumes and not knowing, what to do, and basically this camp is her last resort, and again, as I mentioned, she's like, I can't believe it would be different this year. So yeah, it's like, a lot of it is very, very similar to the second movie. Maybe that's why I don't like it quite as much, because they don't do quite as unique things, but it's, fun stuff. Good jokes. Again, there's the little in-jokes to other horror movies, like there's the one scene where they're fishing, and guess what pulls up on the line? It's a Jason mask, and they just happen to ask, oh, hey, what day is it anyway? And one guy's like, Saturday. Oh, the 14th, which, leads you to believe that the day previous was Friday the 13th. So yeah, it's, cheesy stuff like that. But yeah, it's a good movie, and the trilogy as it stands, I mean, I wish they made more, but they didn't make any more after the third one. Really, really fun bunch of movies. Whatever. It's, just a great kind of, if you've watched Friday the 13th to death, it's a good alternative. And it's very, very 80s, and so there's a lot of nostalgia to be had when you watch it. And I love Pamela Springsteen as the character. She's a lot of fun. It's just, kind of everything that you're kind of looking for in a horror movie. And again, I don't think it is demonizing of transgenders. I mean, she's the star of the movie, and the thing about the horror genre, it's a completely different thing, and it's different with like a bigger movie, like say Silence of the Lambs. Again, I'm bringing up Hannibal again, but you remember how there was the controversy that the killer was, making girl suits and was confused about their sexuality and stuff. That's kind of a gray area, but I mean, horror, it's like kind of like this outsider genre, right? So it's like you wouldn't normally see the hero of a movie being transgender, but they can get away with it if it's the bad guy. But the bad guy is really the good guy, so I don't know. They're serving their own kind of karma. But I can't read too much into it. I mean, they're silly movies where people die in elaborate ways. Pamela Springsteen is pretty much just winking at the camera the whole time. I wish she would have made more. I can't really say if I like the third one better than the first one. I think my order would go, I like the second one best, then maybe the first one, and maybe the third one. That's kind of my order there. But they're great movies. You got to watch them back to back. That's the best way to do it, I think. Just fun time at summer camp. Kids trying to have fun, being killed. What can you do? Oh well. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the series. Not the greatest horror series of all time, but it has its place, I think. And I think it works as comedy, it works as gruesome horror, and it works on a lot of levels just as like a cheesy 80s camp movie, whether or not there is killing or not. So each movie has its own kind of unique thing to it, and I liked all that. Like, especially with the third movie, I appreciated how they tried to do something a little bit different by putting the class war together, and they also had the aspect about, the one kid that Angela killed. His father is a cop, and he's coming back for revenge. So they try. I mean, it's definitely not same old with each movie. You get a little something different, but there's consistencies within all of them, I think. And mostly it's just, Angela killing people because they're bad. So that's pretty much it. Don't really have much else to say. If you haven't seen the movies, even if I've just spoiled them for you, and you still are interested, definitely check them out. They're so fun. And a perfect summer marathon, especially if you've worn out the Friday the 13th. So that's really all I have to say. Again, not too in-depth. I can't really analyze them too much, but those are my thoughts. A great series, great trilogy. They didn't make any more after the third one. Nope. And yeah, that's my video. Hope you enjoyed watching, and have yourselves a great summer. Bye.